The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
As always, thank you for joining us here on FRC Media. It is Wednesday, and Wednesdays we speak with the Mayor of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan, who joins us from Government Center. Mayor, how are you this week?
I'm doing great, Keith. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I actually want to start with some more public safety news. A lot of transition in terms of, well, last week we talked about Kelly Furtado being officially appointed as the full-time police chief in Fall River. And yesterday there was a ceremony at Government Center to announce that Beth Faunce is now the chief of the emergency medical services. Tell us a little bit about Beth. I know she's been there for quite a while, and what does she bring to the position?
Yeah, Beth has a wide range of experience across the board in EMS. I actually, when I got first elected, started working with her because she was almost a homeless advocate for EMS, and we hit a couple of camps together, and I got to know her a little bit. I actually knew her father, the former chief of police, Frank McDonald. I took some classes with him many, many years ago at BCC, and I believe that she has the experience, the knowledge of what's going on down there, and the vision to lead that department forward. There's a bunch of new initiatives coming out, both from St. Anne's and South Coast, that we think would generate revenue for EMS and improve services for the residents of the city. So be happy to partner with her and see how she does. And she's right downstairs in the building now. They have their administrative offices here, so I'm sure we'll have a strong working relationship. And I'm very, very anxious to see where she takes the department.
So, she's been the interim for a little while. What have you hear from some of the rank and file there about her role? Obviously, that played a role again in your full-time appointment, right?
Right. I think we did the appointment yesterday. I think she's kind of be coming off of the interim a little bit later formally, but they did want to make an announcement like that because of her dad and his ability to come up here from Florida and be at the event. So we kind of tailored it around Beth's request. And as you know, there were a number of other appointments made in EMS, and that there were two ceremonies, one at 2:30, one at 4:30, and we're just doing our best to strengthen the whole division from A to Z and get people in the right spots to move that division along. And from the guys who I talked to yesterday, there were many at the ceremony, and the girls. I always say guys, I'm sorry, but from everyone that works at EMS, I'll do it that way, there was positive feedback on Beth's appointment.
And I know you mentioned this before about some partnerships that EMS is making with both Brown Health St. Anne's and Charlton and South Coast Health. I believe last week they were before the city council. Beth was there, as well as the interim CFO, to talk about how EMS is really doing its fair share, right, in terms of raising revenue and not only paying for their services, but also, being innovative in that. And that's something that I guess you'll be looking forward to moving forward, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you want every division, from the parks to the police, to be a positive reflection on the city, people have a good experience with them. If you need to call an ambulance and EMS shows up, you want them to be professional, courteous, make you feel comfortable at a time when you're under a lot of stress. And we do not get a lot of calls up here on complaints about EMS. I don't even know one I've gotten. So that means something's being done properly. And the hospitals, from the moves they're making to support EMS, they must be comfortable with their service also, because those are private industries and they don't cotton very well to people that aren't doing what they're supposed to do and not making their customers comfortable. So if we can strengthen all of our divisions to make the people feel comfortable, I'm all in.
One final question in terms of EMS. Of course, much of their operation is focused at the former fire station on Bedford Street. We've talked about this. That building needs a lot of work, even though some improvements have been made. What's the future in terms of getting that back up to snuff?
Yeah, obviously we have, that's probably one of the fire stations that needs the most attention, the old Central one on Bedford Street, and we have plans in place to do that. We also are looking at some property, again, Center City, where we think we can expand our EMS garage and administrative offices to provide better services to the residents. So there's a number of steps being implemented right now that are going to hopefully improve a couple of our fire stations and at the same time give EMS a home. So we'll see how they play out.
Yeah. All right. We are heading to the, I guess, the unofficial beginning of summer this weekend with Memorial Day weekend. And as always, the city of Fall River and its Veteran Services Office is doing its fair share in terms of recognizing those veterans who were lost at wars, as well as veterans who currently serve and have served. A big weekend here in Fall River, and I know you're part of just about all of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of events, all very, very important. Again, you're talking about the people that allow you and I to sit here and talk. As far as I'm concerned, our veterans, we owe them everything. And in Fall River, we go out of our way to acknowledge whether it's the Gold Star mothers, the Korean veterans, the Italian veterans, or the Marines, Air Force, Army, whatever. We acknowledge all the people that offered and sacrificed for our country. The parade is the highlight. 2 o'clock on Monday. We'd love to see a big crowd out there. It goes from Kennedy Park right down to Government Center. It's very, very important. It looks like the weather's going to break for us. So if we get a nice day, that usually means the crowds come out, and we look forward to seeing everyone at the parade on Monday at 2 o'clock.
I know another thing that Veteran Services Office has done, I had a chance to speak with Taylor Farris yesterday about the events, is that I believe there are over 30 veterans memorial markers across the city, be there monuments or markers or signage, and they make a point to put a wreath or some recognition on every one. So if you're driving around Fall River this weekend, make sure if you see one, just recognize the fact that the city does pay good tribute to all those that were lost and those specific markers that are strewn throughout the city. This also leads me to my next point as we're heading into the summer months, and I know the city has a lot of plans in terms of events this summer, many of them at the waterfront. And I know that there's one coming up, I believe in a few weeks, that's actually going to celebrate not only what's happening at the waterfront, but also the Fall River Symphony Orchestra. It should be a big event.
Yeah, that's going to be something really different that I haven't seen in my 6 years as mayor. We're going to have the Symphony Orchestra right on the Norton Pier, 6:30 to 9:30, a concert, food trucks. I think there's a guest singer. I know the stage we had to rent was massive for this, and sound. Bring a lawn chair, go down and enjoy an evening on the pier and listen to the symphony orchestra. I think it's going to be something very, very special, and I'm hoping it works. I hope we have good weather, and I hope people walk away saying, "Well, that was different." Because when you expose people that traditionally don't go to the symphony to an event like that, I think it's going to be very positive. I'm not, I go to the symphony at Bristol Community College once or twice a year, and I'm always amazed at how great they sound, and I can only imagine what they're going to sound like on that pier. So again, I think that's June 13th, 6:30 down at the Norton Pier. Get something to eat at one of the restaurants in Fall River, and then grab a chair and head over. I think you're going to have a fun night.
Yeah, and this is in conjunction with the Symphony's 100th anniversary, celebrating 100 years here in Fall River. All right, Mayor, as always, thank you for your time. We'll talk again soon. Take care.
Okay, thanks, Keith.
All right, and thank you for joining us here in FRC Media. Have a great week.